Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be playing with another Glimmer set from Spellbinders. This is the Glimmer of the month for February 2022, and it is the Anytime Glimmer Sentiments. Now, something that just occurred to me, I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner, is that usually when I get a stamp set or a die set or a glimmer set, whatever it is, I don't use all of the pieces. Instead, I keep going back to the same ones every single time. So what I'm going to try to start doing is actually using everything in the kit, because once you use it, you know kind of how it works and you know whether or not you like it or not. Or if you really do just like those one or two little pieces. So this Glimmer set has got a ton of sentiments, and I'm going to go ahead and use all of them. And they're pretty big. There are 6 of them, so I have got more than 6 card panels. I'm going to do 1 per. That way I've got a sentiment panel ready to go, and then I can do whatever else I want to do with it on a card. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out some foil for this. Now, when I received it, they were out of the matte gold foil to be able to send me that. So instead, I'm going to be using the gold foil that came with my Glimmer machine. I have not used that up, and I've got a bunch more anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out some pieces that'll pretty much match these, and then I can put those on my panels to get those card panels all good to go. Now there are a couple of these pieces that probably just need a small sentiment, and I may do that. I haven't 100% sure, but I haven't 100% decided. But some of these are large enough to be basically the focal point of your card. For instance, this one. It is Friends, Fun, and Presents, Happy Birthday. And that one I think would be a very nice focal point, and you could use basically any type of images to go along with it. And I think what I want to do, better use of the foil, is just cut a piece that's going to be about the right size for 2 of those, so I don't waste a bunch of this. Okay, I think that is about right, and I am using my quick cutter here because it makes it a lot easier for me to cut my foil. And then instead of moving everything around, actually I'm going to have to stay down. I've got air conditioning going, which means it doesn't like these things. That is the truth. It likes to blow everything around. So I want it to go where I have that line across there, so that's about right. Now I can cut this in half so it fits for both of those. So first, my machine is still heating up, so I can go ahead and get these 2 panels ready. Today I am using accent opaque white paper for my panels. So I'm going to just set that off to the side, and then I will get everything lined up. And I'm going to continue to attempt different ways of getting everything lined up perfect, because it is a little bit difficult to do that. However, if you've already got the panel, basically in place, and you've got it foiled up, you can always do whatever kind of die cutting you need to do around it and still have everything lined up perfect. So I think that is pretty close to center. And then I will do the same thing for my other panels. Okay, I'm going to interrupt for just a second. I am just too excited. I've been talking about this on my live streams and premieres for the last couple of weeks. The free Card Maker Success Summit kicks off next week. We have got 25 creators that are going to teach you how to create beautiful cards for all of your year-round card making with less stress. We've got Aaron Reed, Justine Hovey, Nicole Watt, and so many more. And I'm lucky enough to be a part of this too. Each of the presentations will be available for about 24 hours, but you can also get immediate and ongoing access along with around $600 plus in other amazing bonuses by grabbing the VIP All Access Pass. Learn more and get your free ticket to the Card Maker Success Summit before we kick off on Wednesday. looks like my platform is pretty much ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit the timer and get everything put in place for my first run. I think I'm going to go ahead and do these two smaller sentiments. And what I found on my machine, at least last time when I tried it, which was about, what, a week ago, on my machine, for smaller sentiments, I only need to use the plate, the regular plate, the spacer pad, that's what it's called. That's all that I need to use on it. I don't need to use the thin shim on these specific ones, and I hope it holds true for this one, because I think I've got them taped in place enough so that I'll be able to run it through a second time if I have to, but I don't really want to have to, you know? I am trying to get to know this machine like I got to know my Gemini foil press, because this one seems to do a lot better job. I'm going to go ahead and start on this one. On the first two, it looked like there was a little bit of underfoiling, and that's probably because I didn't have that shim, so I'm going to go ahead and add the shim this time. So here is the extra shim. So we've got the spacer pad and the shim, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the timer. Okay, so it is ready to go, so let's go ahead and run that through. And just pray I don't get overfoiling. As I mentioned, I am getting used to the machine, and right now when I'm going through it, running this through my Platinum 6, I am getting a little bit of pressure, extra pressure there. But what I found was really interesting is on some of the very, very small glimmer plates, that even having that little bit of pressure was too much. So let's see how it does on this one. This is a medium size plate, I believe. So let's go ahead and take the tape off and see how that one turned out. And I do have a little bit of overfoiling, but I think it's not too much. I think it's basically about enough where I'll be able to erase that off without a problem. So that looks very pretty. This one is another one that is a bit small. So I'll go ahead and put it down with just the spacer pad, and I think I may add a cardstock shim instead of a spacer pad and see if that helps any. Now I'm basically just experimenting here, so I'm not sure. So this one is another piece of accent opaque, one of my extras, and I'll just put that down and see if that makes a difference. Okay, let's go ahead and run that through. Okay, this time it does not feel like it has nearly as much pressure, meaning I could basically slide this through with my hand without having to crank. And that's kind of the feeling that I've seen on some of the really thin, really small glimmer plates. So let's see if that did anything for this one. It may not be enough pressure, but we shall see. And that actually looks perfect. Okay, so that may be the trick on my specific machine. Now that's the thing you want to do. You need to experiment with your own machine to find out what works best for you. And at this point, I have not experimented enough. Okay, so I've got another one of these nice glimmer dies. I told you, I'm going to try all of them. I'm going to go ahead and put that extra piece of cardstock down as a shim, and then place my glimmer spacer pad on top and hit the timer. Okay, and we'll take the tape off, and let's take a look. And again, it looks like I've got perfect foiling again. Now there is a little bit out here to the edge. That's probably because I had such a large piece of foil, but look at that. That looks pretty much perfect. Okay, one last one for this Glimmer of the Month set, and we will see how that one does, doing the exact same thing with the paper shim. So paper shim may be my solution. And that one looks good as well. So I am very happy now. I do have a slight bit of overfoiling over at the edge like I did on the other one, but that is because it is so close. It's basically I had a larger piece of foil there, but these all look lovely. So that is note to self. That one is a note to self. I need to use a paper shim when I am running through any of the larger ones. Now I will do some more with some of these smaller ones and see if it works the same, but I have a feeling that it will. So my next thing to do is I need to turn these sentiments, all of these pretty foil sentiments, into some cards. I pulled out the Spellbinders card kit of the month, and I'm using a bunch of the little pieces in there. I don't normally use chipboard, but I am using a chipboard frame for my first card and that extra typewriter that I had stamped out on my previous video. I'm basically just pulling out bunches of ephemera and putting everything together. For the second card, I'm using some of the Fluted Frames rectangle dies to cut out one of the sentiments in a frame and then to create a fluted frame background or matting layer for my card. I love these fluted frames. That little extra detail just makes everything pop, and I absolutely love it. Just going to glue everything down and pick out some more ephemera to go on the front of this card. For my third card, I cut out a matting layer using the new small die of the month, the Oval Stitch and Border die. It just has got such pretty little flowers along the edges. And then I used one of the pieces to cut out the sentiment as well. Now I'm just layering everything up, popping a little up on foam tape, and then adding some of that ephemera again from that card kit. For this next card, I'm using my paper trimmer to trim out that sentiment. Then I grabbed a piece of pattern paper from that pattern paper pack from the card kit of the month and put that down on my card base, and then I also rounded the corners on my sentiment. That's something I don't always do, but I thought that gave it a little bit of a softer touch, finishing it up with a couple of pieces of ephemera, and that's going to finish up this card. to my last couple of foiled sentiments. These are the smaller ones, and I'm just trimming those up with my paper trimmer and using a piece of patterned paper from the card kit as my background for the first one. Okay, actually I did the same thing for both of these. I used a piece of patterned paper as my background, and then I'm going to add the sentiment and look through those remaining ephemera pieces to see what else I want to add to the card. Okay, everything is pretty much done, but you know me, I have to add a little bit of sparkle. So I'm using the sequins that came in the card kit of the month, and oh my goodness, these are just so pretty. There is just this iridescent shine that it's just a perfect finishing touch. I cannot speak. Sorry guys. And even on a couple of these cards which seemed a little plain, those little pieces of shine added to the cards just make, I don't know, it just makes them pop just a little bit and finishes them off nicely, which means it doesn't really take a whole lot for you to be able to put together an awesome card using ephemera pieces from a card kit. Now, if you want to see more videos where I use some Spellbinders products, take a look at this playlist over here. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too.